If you are a victim, establishing boundaries for yourself is always hard. It will be especially difficult if your boundaries were severely violated in childhood. No one who has avoided childhood victimization can truly understand what these individuals go through. Of all the injuries that can be endured, this type causes severe spiritual and emotional damage. A victim is a person who has, while in a helpless state, been injured by the exploitation of another. Some victimization is verbal, some is physical, some is sexual, and some is ritualistic. All causes extreme damage to the character structure of a child, who then grows up to adulthood with spiritual, emotional, and cognitive distortions. In each case, however, three factors remain constant: helplessness, injury, and exploitation. Some results of victimization are these: depression, compulsive disorders, impulsive disorders, isolation, inability to trust others, inability to form close attachments, inability to set limits, poor judgment in relationships, further exploitation in relationships, deep sense of pervasive badness, shame, guilt, chaotic lifestyle, sense of meaninglessness and purposelessness, unexplainable terror or panic attacks, phobias, rage attacks, suicidal feelings and thoughts. Victimization has long-lasting and far-reaching effects on the lives of adult survivors. Healing for victims is difficult because their developmental processes have been damaged or interrupted by abuse. The most primary damage done is that the victim loses a sense of trust. Trust, the ability to depend on ourselves and others in times of need, is a basic spiritual and emotional survival need. We need to be able to trust our own perceptions of reality and to be able to let significant people matter to us. Our ability to trust ourselves is based on our experience of others as trustworthy. People who are like a tree planted by streams of water. Psalms 1 verse 3. Feel firm because of the streams of love coming from God and others in their lives. Victims often lose a sense of trust because the perpetrator was someone they knew as children, someone who was important to them. When the relationship became damaging to them, their sense of trust became broken. Another damaging effect of abuse or molestation is the destruction of a sense of ownership over the victim's soul. In fact, victims often feel that they are public property, that their resources, body, and time should be available to others just for the asking. Another injury due to victimization is a deep perverse sense of being all bad, wrong, dirty, or shameful. No matter how affirming others are of the lovableness and their attributes, victims are convinced that underneath it all they have no good inside themselves. Because of the severity of their injuries, many victims have over-permeable boundaries. They take on badness that isn't theirs. They begin believing that the way they were treated is the way they should be treated. Many victims think that since they were told they were bad or evil thousands of times, it certainly must be true. Boundaries as an aid to the victim. Boundary work, as described in this book, can be extremely helpful in moving victims towards restoration and healing. However, in many cases, the severe nature of the need is such that the victim will be unable to set boundaries without professional help. We strongly urge abuse victims to seek out a counselor who can guide them in establishing and maintaining appropriate boundaries. As you can see, our boundary problems with ourselves can be many different origins and manifestations. The good news is your boundaries with yourself can be restored and strengthened. We see it happening every day and have great hope that with help, healing, and practice you will be able to develop the self-boundaries you need.